right. Hey, I'm Matt with Schematical, and today on CTO Coffee Hour is with me as always is Dominic, and we will be talking about AWS's new integration with WhatsApp. So, AWS, of course, allows you to send emails via SES. You can send notifications via SNS, simple notification services. So that can allow you to send SMS messages. Wow.
Is that thunder?
It's thunder, yeah. So if you lose me, you know why. This happened to me last week. I was being interviewed, and and it fell off. So yeah. The funny thing is, okay. Side note here, I got one of those battery backups for the computer, so it'll last like 6 minutes. If there's just a flicker, it won't die. Turns out, should have plugged the modem into that. So now I gotta get a different one or move the modem around the house or something. But yeah, that shook the windows. That was crazy.
Oh, it's a beautiful day here. Beautiful evening here.
Oh. So yeah, I figured you'd find this interesting because you run a small business, you an amazing sales funnel, and we've talked before about like how could you automate it because you've got a really brilliant system for outreach, and this might integrate in with that stack. Oop, you're muted if you're
Sorry, no, I muted for a second because I'm talking to somebody else right there as well. But now you have my undivided attention.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, so SMS is good. However, the new iOS app or iOS operating system, of course, is now screening your text messages automatically without the user opting in or opting out. Whereas WhatsApp still gets delivered to somebody's desktop, as do blue check marks. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I thought this would be another interesting way. I like how they're integrating in with third-party services. At the same time, I find it amusing. They launched like an entire dedicated service for this. They're not like, they didn't give it its own kind of separate vehicle to go with there. It's like they have a service for everything. They could have easily just made this more of like a setting in SMS or SNS, which in a lot of ways it does. There's an article I got coming out probably on Wednesday, I think, that's about how they're using it for spam filtering for SMS too. They've got a new service they're releasing to prevent they're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're DDoSes on incoming SMS messages, but their only thing is these attacks are like they're like, pay us a bunch of money, otherwise we're going to keep spamming you with this, and we're going to cost you 10 times as much as whatever we're charging you.
Yep, international charges.
Yeah, so this is another, again, it's kind of a two-part thing because I'm jumping around here, but that service basically becomes like WAF, like web application firewall, for SMS traffic from your text messages.
So you said this isn't a standalone service. What is it a part of? It has to be a part of some SDK.
AWS end user social messaging is the title that they're coming with. They've run out of.
That's not an interesting name at all from Amazon.
No, I know. Well, they can't just slap cloud in front of it. Cloud messaging. I'm surprised they didn't do that. But yeah, AWS end user messaging social, which is part of their end user messaging suite, which does include SMS, rich messages, and MMS, which I don't think I've ever even sent one of those. It is two-way too, so it's not just one way, which means you're going to see bot integrations, AI agents, or whatever you use
probably already done. Now, have you looked at the APIs to know if you get? Well, first of all, like you type somebody's phone number into WhatsApp, and first of all, it'll tell you if that number is on WhatsApp. Second of all, you send a message, you get a single check mark. It gets delivered to the client's phone, you get a second check mark. And then when the person sees it, you get 2 blue check marks. Is there some sort of fail down that you could do with this?
That's a good question. I actually haven't seen that API there. I do know that they're forcing the an opt-in, so you can't just send someone this. They'll hit them with an opt-in after that. So it's there's some amount of and I think that's based on the country as well. So there's different rules for that. But as far as getting notifications as for if they viewed it or not, I actually haven't seen that yet. I can look for that though.
Because that's going to be valuable to somebody to know that it's been delivered, to know that it's been looked at.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I would have to do a little bit of deeper digging in it. I figured that's
Okay.
not going to make for a good podcast, but excellent question. I will
Mm.
answer that shortly. But I can see that being very, very valuable to you,
Mm-hmm.
as the end user. So it does allow for some rich type text stuff too. So you can send like buttons and cards. You can basically embed links that have, that it'll send you back a message. They opted yes, they opted no. To give you a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more, you don't have to rely on an LLM interpreting it. You can give something a little bit more decisive there,
And I even wonder if
deterministic.
they're going to build in some of the functionality, like if you're in a WhatsApp group, for example, you can put out polls and other things. So um, whether it's strictly messaging or whether it's going to be much richer over time. I mean, the messaging is huge. I mean, you've traveled extensively as well, and WhatsApp. Uh, WhatsApp is the communication platform of the world right now. Now, there's some places that use Viber, there's some places that use Telegram, but even on top of that, everybody who has Viber and Telegram also uses WhatsApp.
Yeah, I mean, that is the general consensus I've heard.
Mm.
That's kind of funny, me being not a WhatsApp user, but you know.
Never mind about
Um,
the rainbow bunnies that just walked past me.
for those of you that are on the audio only by chance, Dominic is out and about in public, and
Mm.
people are walking by him. So, but yeah. So okay, you at one point said you had a stack you wanted, and I'm trying to remember what that stack was, like an
So
order.
I want to fail down. I want to start at iMessage, then I
Okay.
want to go to WhatsApp, then I want to go to text message. Because each one of those, as you go down, has a lower, I don't want to say reply rate, but lower visibility to the end user.
Mhm. Okay. There's no there's no equivalent on Google side, or do you just say screw, Android, and I just want to go iMessage?
Most of my customers have iPhones,
Hmm.
and iMessage gets consistently the greatest response. Now, what does Google have? G Message? Nothing quite the same way as Apple has iMessage or
Yeah, Google
FaceTime or
Chat.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Now I'm wondering if it's a bias because you prioritize Apple, that's why you have so many Apple customers, but I doubt that's the case. It's probably because of a bit more affluent market.
The just the simple demographics of such. Yes, I'd say 80% of my customers use iPhones.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But that's where if it failed on iPhone, they might have WhatsApp. If it fails on WhatsApp, they always have text,
Right. And then email
SMS or
maybe it's a
MMS even.
third. Yeah. No, it's
Well,
interesting. I
but
mean,
but
there's
but
also, I mean,
but email is email. I'm talking about if you have their phone number, here's the order of um my priority, my preference rather.
yeah. Well, and I know you've dabbled with outbound calling, and Google,
Hmm.
or it's not Google, Amazon has released a service that it's mainly meant for customer service, I believe, for
Hmm.
more inbound. But I'd be curious where it does text to speech and speech to text back and forth. You can almost in real time have conversations, using AI, and that might just be your door opener, there.
So does Google also do an sorry, not Google, Amazon, AWS, um, ringless voicemails, or is that something that's just a little bit
So I
too?
haven't experimented with that. The system I'm talking about, like I said, is mainly for customer service. So I know it does inbound, but I don't know if
Mm.
it does outbound. That's a good thing
At
for me
least
to
without
look into.
at least without maybe building the UI layer on top of it.
Yeah. So if nothing else, you could generate the audio file,
Mhm.
and then you could, send it as a SMS, message potentially or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if through an API you could customize text to voice, voice to text to voice. If you could customize the message and then through an API send that to a ringless voicemail service or something like that.
Yeah. Probably even clone your own voice too, just to make it
Yep.
sound better. I mean, in all reality, slap FFmpeg on there, do a genuine voice message, and then
Yeah.
replace just the part where you say their name or whatever. Like, hey,
Mm.
Jim, nice to, whatever. And then, yeah, that could be an interesting service.
I mean, there's any number of different ways to build this network right now, since everything is API and automated driven. It's funny because I've done a lot of ringless voicemails, and then somebody will call me back, and they'll say, "Yeah, you called me." I'm like, "Well, I didn't." They're like, "No, I heard your voice on my voicemail. You left me the message." I'm like, you're right. I did call you, even though it was an automated message all the same. I guess my voice was the basis of that automated message.
Yeah. Interesting time to be alive. So,
Indeed.
well, with that said, I think we'll keep this short because I know you kind of got a lot going on. But yeah, you giving me some things to dig into here for the WhatsApp stuff. Yeah, if anybody else is basically, if you're new to this, I run schematical.com. I help CTOs running on AWS sleep at night, or anybody running on AWS. And yeah, well, you can find me at schematical.com. And Dominic, thank you for joining.
Pleasure as always. Ciao all.
Ciao.